In a middle school lunchroom, a principal stamps a boy's wrist and swaps his hot meal for a cold cheese sandwich because of lunch debt. The cafeteria manager steps out from behind the line, pays the debts on the spot, and drops the red stamp into a tub of sanitizer, risking her job and income. Quiet care follows, and small changes ripple through the school's routines, shifting how lunch is handled, without anyone making a speech. Before we get started, tap like, share, and subscribe to join the journey. And tell me, where in the world are you watching? Drop your country below. I love seeing the global trail of these stories. The stamp cracked against the boy's wrist. Red ink bled into the creases, wet and loud, while the line of kids went quiet except for trays clicking and shoes squeaking on the tile. The principal slid the hot tray away. Gravy slopped over the edge and onto stainless steel. He handed the boy a pale square of cheese on white bread wrapped in plastic. He said soft like he was tired, "Policy." Ray watched from behind the sneeze guard. Tater tots steamed under heat lamps. Her hairnet itched. The fridge hummed. The boy kept his eyes low. He wore a green backpack too big for his shoulders. She had seen the list print at 710, the dot matrix spitting out names with debt. She had seen the stamp placed on the clipboard. Same stamp as last week. New red pad. Fresh. Like someone wanted it to show. The boy pushed his stamped wrist under his sleeve. Kids in the line stared, then looked at their trays, then pretended not to have seen. One girl's mouth went tight. A teacher at the door shifted, then turned away toward the hallway. Ray felt the line move like a current around a rock. She could feel the math in her chest. Rent due in 9 days. Final write-up already on file for overportioning. Her son's inhaler still needed refills. She stood there with a ladle in her hand, the smell of chicken gravy in her nose, the air bright and flat under the fluorescence. The principal moved to the next kid with a clipboard. "Hands, please," he said. He didn't look mean. He looked like someone with a stack of emails and a short rope from downtown. His tie was loose. His sleeves were rolled. His jaw twitched. Ray slid the window open. The metal runner scraped like a zipper. She stepped out from behind the line. Hairnet, blue polo, black clogs. A hush spread in a small curve around her feet. "Come back," she said, to the boy with the green backpack. He didn't move at first. He stared at the plastic-wrapped sandwich. Then he shuffled one step. His wrist had the word in reverse relief, MONEYOWED stamped too hard. He kept tugging the sleeve. Ray took the hot tray the principal had pushed aside. Mashed potatoes, chicken gravy, peas, a roll, still warm. She set it in front of the boy. The steam fogged over the sneeze guard. The principal blinked. "Ms. Torres," he said. Careful voice, warning under it. He used her last name like a fence. "Not today," she said. She picked up the red stamp from the clipboard. The handle was sticky. She dropped it into the sanitizer tub. The red bled into the soapy water, a cloudy coral cloud, turning the suds pink. A couple of kids made small sounds in their throats like they were tiny birds. Someone laughed once, quick and guilty. The teacher by the door took 2 steps inside and stopped, like his feet had touched a line. Ray tapped the screen at the register. Her fingers moved like they always did, fast and steady. She searched the boy's account, the numbers in a neat row. She pressed Add Funds and typed in enough to cover the tray and tomorrow. The system pinged twice. She punched her employee code. The screen asked, "Are you sure?" She was. The principal's voice cooled. "We can't comp. The district. I'll cover every name on that list today," Ray said. Her voice was flat and practical, like when she told a kid to use a fork for chili. "Ring it to my account." He blinked again. "Ms. Torres." He placed his palm on the steel edge of the line like he might steady himself. He glanced at the kids. He lowered his voice. "You know, I hate this part." "I know," she said. She looked at him, not unkind. "Write me up." He took the clipboard back from where she had set it. He pulled the stamp back out of the suds, then stared at the smear and set it down again, like he didn't want to touch it twice. "You can't do this," he said, meeting her eyes. "It's done," she said. He turned, signaled the security guard, who stood by the milk cooler. The guard walked over slow, not eager. He was a big man with neat hair. He looked at the kids in the line, then at Ray. He didn't reach for her. He just stood near, presence like comb. "You're making a scene," the principal said. "The scene was already here," Ray said. She didn't raise her voice. She slid another hot tray to another kid whose name had been on the list. She hit Add Funds again. The numbers on the screen jumped. She imagined them as cans on a shelf. She imagined pulling each one down, A vice principal appeared at the far end, steps fast, eyebrows up. "What's going on?" she asked, then took it in. Her mouth turned into a straight line. "Keys," the principal said to Ray. "Please. Now." Ray's hands shook once, then settled. She reached into the pocket of her apron, past her phone, and a packet of salt. She set her keys on the counter. The metal sounded like a small accident. "You're suspended pending review," the vice principal said. She didn't sound angry. She sounded like a recorded message. "Human resources will call you, okay," Ray said. She kept sliding trays while she spoke. 2 more kids, both with sleeves tugged down, both avoiding her eyes, and also holding onto them like a handle. She moved fast until the principal put his hand over the register. "That's enough," he said. She stopped. She took off her hairnet and folded it into a small square and set it by the keys. She looked at the boy with the green backpack, who held his hot tray like it might break. "Eat," she said to him, a quiet order. He nodded once and went to a table by the wall. They walked her out through the side hall, past the poster about balanced meals and the schedule for milk deliveries. She didn't look back. Her throat felt tight and hot. Her chest wanted to shake. She kept her face still like she did when grease popped. Outside, the sky was pale and thin. The wind came around the school like it had somewhere new to be. She sat in her car and put her forehead on the steering wheel for 3 breaths. Then she called the deli on the corner and ordered 2 hot sandwiches to go. She waited in the lot until the buses started to pull up. She didn't want to be a story in a group chat. She didn't want to spook anyone. She pulled her hood up and stood by the chain-link fence. She found him after school by the bus stop. The green backpack hung off one shoulder now, zipper half open. He stood off to the side of a cluster of taller kids who whacked each other with notebooks. "Hey," Ray said. She held a paper bag and a cold water. "Here." He looked up like he expected trouble. He saw her and then saw the bag. He slid the stamped wrist into the sleeve again. "I'm okay," he said, automatic. "I know," she said. Still, she held the bag out until he took it. He didn't thank her. He didn't have to. He was hungry. He opened the bag and the smell of warm bread rose up. He ate standing there, neat small bites, cheeks working. "Do you have wipes?" she asked. He shook his head. She pulled a lemon wedge wrapped in plastic from her pocket, left over from the salad bar. "Rub this," she said. He dragged the lemon across the red letters, and the ink lightened, enough for him to shove the cuff up and not keep it down like it burned. He chewed and ate and stared at the cracks in the sidewalk. Bus engines idled, exhaust tickled noses. Someone laughed and dropped a binder. A whistle blew twice for no reason anyone could see. When he unzipped his backpack, a folded notice slid out. It was creased soft like it had been folded and unfolded too many times. Final notice. Service disconnect scheduled. The words were grey and businesslike. There was a bill for $48 and change. A grocery list written in pencil was on the back. Rice, eggs, soap. A small drawing of a cat was in the margin. He scooped the paper up fast like he hadn't meant for it to fall. Ray looked at it without staring. She didn't say anything. She handed him a peeled orange she had pulled apart while waiting. The segments were clean and bright. He ate those too, juice sticky on his fingers. In the second sandwich bag, she had stuffed a 6 cartons of milk from a case she had bought herself after work last week. "Keep these cold," she said, like they were simple objects, not help. He nodded and tucked them into the backpack. "Careful." A bus pulled up, brakes shrieking. He stood and hitched the backpack higher. He looked at her then only for a second. Eyes bright and steady like he had decided something. "Thanks," he said. It wasn't small. It landed like a slice of bread in an empty stomach. She watched him climb the bus steps. He walked past the driver and sat in the 3rd row by the window. As the bus pulled away, he lifted the orange peel and waved it once like a flag. It made her laugh, a quiet sound that surprised her. The next morning she woke up, and the silence in her kitchen felt like a room waiting to be painted. HR didn't call. Her son left for school in a rush, backpack bouncing. She made coffee. Her phone buzzed. A text from the para in room 214, no stamp today. Another text from the custodian. He took it out of the tub and left it in the office, then didn't bring it back. At noon, a photo came in from the librarian. A plastic bin at the end of the line with a handwritten sign. "Fruit is for everyone." The handwriting wasn't hers. It was blocky, like a coach's. Bananas in a pile. 2 kids reaching. She walked past the school at dismissal. She didn't go in. She saw the principal through the window at the front office, shoulders down, hands on a stack of forms. A parent was talking at the counter, a toddler on a hip. He nodded, listening. He looked human. A teacher she knew wheeled a crate of string cheeses down the hall like they were a science project. On Friday, a guidance counselor started a small fund with a recycled coffee can on the back counter. No label. People knew without the label. Quarters clinked like rain. A social worker brought in a stack of prepaid cards, $10 each, no badge, no fanfare. In the lunchroom, kids with debts still got hot trays. They moved through like regular students. There was no show. Pagard stayed by the milk cooler, but leaned, less stiff. A boy with a green backpack lined up with friends and actually put his tray down in the middle of the table instead of at the edge. Ray stopped checking her email. She climbed into her car and drove to the discount grocery. She paid the electric bill that had sat in her glove box and bought 2 packs of shelf-stable milk for her own cupboard. She took the long way home and passed the school again because it was on her way. Late that afternoon, HR finally called. The woman had a pleasant voice that had said these words before. 2 weeks unpaid, then review, she said. Policy, she added, like it was a pillow to put under the fall. Okay, Ray said. She didn't argue. She didn't agree. She wrote the date on a sticky note and put it on her microwave. Then she wiped the red stain out of the inside of her lunch bag. It came up slow. On Monday, a mum from the PTA dropped a brown envelope at Ray's front door with no note. Inside were gift cards to a grocery and a gas station. Not much, but it felt like air in a tight room. She set them in her wallet and closed it and didn't cry. She started waking up at the old time anyway, brain set to kitchen hours. She walked to the park with coffee in a travel mug and sat on a bench. Kids rode scooters. A man threw a ball to a dog and laughed when the dog didn't bring it back. The morning had space in it. She thought about the feel of the stamp handle in her hand, how sticky it had been, how the soapy water had turned that milky, cheap pink, how the boy had waved the orange peel like a silly flag when the bus pulled away. Her palm still wore a faint pink ghost of the word. It faded a little every day. She rubbed her thumb across it and looked up. The clouds had thinned out. Sun lit the rust on the chain link at the far end of the park. Across the street, the school windows caught the light and held it. She could see movement behind the glass. She couldn't hear it, but she knew the line was moving. The kids would be hungry and the trays would be warm, and for now, nobody's wrist would be red.